Hello everyone, Daniela here with Addo Aesthetics, and thank you so much for joining us for the first ever marketing month. So for the entire month of May, I'm going to be joined by my dear friend and colleague, Nicole Simpson, who is a licensed esthetician and the founder of the Global Aesthetics Group and Aesthetics Influencer. And every single Monday, we're going to be talking in depth about a different marketing topic that you can use in your spa to attract new clients and to help retain the clients that you already have. So, Nicole, thank you so much for joining us.
Such a pleasure to be here.
So, let's kick off Marketing Month, the first discussion of the month, talking about systems marketing, more specifically using email marketing to gain and retain your clients. Now, this is something that I talk about quite a bit. I feel like it's something that's very overlooked in medical spas and in day spas. Have you noticed that as well?
I notice it, and I also notice that I'm not the only one who breaks out in hives when you hear the word system or system marketing. So I'm glad that we're having this conversation today just to kind of explain what it is and why everybody out there should be doing it, because it's something that's just so easy. And what's good is once you have your system in place, it really just always works in your favor. So I can't wait to do a deep dive into this.
Yeah, set it and forget it.
Yep.
That's what I love. Working in different practices, it's made it so much easier because there are so many tasks to do. There's so many. It's like that pile is just never ending, and you're wanting to make sure that every single client or patient feels like they are the VIP, like they are the most important. And so that is why I love systems marketing and setting up specifically an email marketing funnel system. So for those of you who are not familiar, let me just kind of explain briefly what an email marketing funnel is, and we can kind of get rid of some of the terminology that, we don't have to talk about systems or whatever. We can just kind of
No heart attacks
explain
today.
it. Yeah, explain it in an easy way. But essentially, when you are collecting emails, which is something that you should do with all of your current clients or patients, and also be working to collect emails of potential clients and patients, they will go into a database, and there's some type of email service provider that you'll be using. So whether this is something like MailChimp, Constant Contact, ConvertKit, there's all different types of email service providers. Sometimes they're called customer relationship management software. Whatever it is, having some sort of database that you can set up and communicate via email with your clients or patients. Now, what I'm referring to when I talk about an email marketing funnel is setting up an automated sequence, and also sometimes automated emails, say for your client's birthday, specific holidays that just automatically go out. Perhaps if your patient hasn't been in 3 or more months, you can send out an automated email. There's really so much that you can do, and it is a lot of work up front. I'm not going to lie about that. It certainly takes some energy and effort to map all of this out, but once you do, the return on your investment is huge. So in regards to sharing some of the benefits first of email marketing funnels, besides what I just mentioned, you're building that know, like, and trust factor. So each client, there is some marketing survey, and I will have to look it up and find the exact study, but it's something like each client has to have contact with your business either 6 or 7 times before they decide to purchase from you. Have you heard that one too?
Yep, I've heard it's about 6 or 7 times.
Yes, and so through social media, through your website, through word of mouth, whatever it is, they need to come in contact with you. Maybe they're coming in for a consult even. But they need to have that relationship with you so they can build that know, like, and trust factor. And the reason
Oh, sorry. I was just
Yeah.
going to say what's interesting about that, even though it does take so many points of contact to develop trust and the relationship with your consumer or your patient, whether it's somebody who does know your practice or somebody who's just out there in cyberland that might be interacting somehow with your social pages, is that you still, even out of those 6 or 7 interactions, you've got about 7 seconds to make an impression on those people. So even though we think, okay, oh, if I've got 6 or 7 touch points where I can reach out and touch this person and try, to build a relationship with them, you still, with each interaction, have 7 seconds to show who you are, why they should like you, and why they should trust you. So I think it's something, even though it seems easy, we should never take for granted the aspects that go into trust. And I know that we'll probably jump into that. But one of the things I've got, most of you may or may not know my background and experience, but I spent a lot of time in education. And one of the things that I've always trained on, especially when it comes to sales and developing your clientele, is focusing on trust giving you access. You cannot develop sales without access. You cannot sell to a person without access. You can't book consults without access to a person. How many times have you walked through the mall and you've got those guys in the middle saying, "Excuse me, can I ask you a question?" And you're like, "No." And you keep walking. You have not given them any access. So they have no opportunity to sell to you. And it's the same concept that you want to think about when you're looking at developing this funnel, whether it's the voice that you provide in your email or what you have on social. Developing trust gives you access. Access is what converts to sales. So I'm sure that we will jump into that, but just remember that you've got 6 to 7 touch points, but you've got a 7-second window to really convey to the person why they should believe in you.
Well, let's just talk about that right now really quickly then, because I think it does, what you just touched on showcases how important it is to understand who your ideal client is, to understand your target market, because if you only have 7 seconds, the better you know your client, the more you can make your website, appeal to them. You can make your social post appeal to them, even like all the way down to the decor of your spa. And
Absolutely.
And those are really important things. Whether you're targeting, maybe your spa is located in the city and you're targeting a really young population and you're focusing on cutting edge treatments, or you could be a spot in the suburbs that caters towards, moms that have a high discretionary income or whatever it is. There's so many different target markets. And I quote you all the time when you say the brand that does everything is the brand that does nothing. I love that. And, it rings true here in the same place as a med spa or a day spa or resort, whatever type of spa you're in. If you are, the more you know your ideal client, the more you can make your website, the more you can make your copy, the more, all of these things you can target towards that ideal client and build that trust factor, which will increase the, likelihood that your 7 seconds will be successful.
It's true. I mean, one of the things that I do, and I've always done when I would speak to offices, specifically with office managers, estheticians, those who are really trying to invest in outreach, is put together a customer avatar. Actually pull pictures of who you think your customer is. And it's really easy to do. Look at who's already buying from you. So if you've got an established client base, look at who she is. How old is she? What treatments is she having? Does she have pets? Does she have children? Is she busy? Is she time rich? Is she time poor? Looking at all of these things and start painting a picture of who Mrs. Patient is. And then when you've got an idea of who Mrs. Patient is, whenever you start to write an email or develop a social post or whatever these assets that you're using to build up your funnel, pretend like you're speaking to her. How many times have, we all been in the situation where we find ourselves speaking text language by email? Like, have you ever gone back and read an email and you're speaking text instead of formal English, or sending emojis to somebody who might be in their 50s or 60s and they're like, what the heck is this thing that I'm reading? And vice versa. How many times do you reach out to them, maybe a patient in their young 20s who want to speak to you in emojis because that's how they find you relatable? So it's just a good idea to imagine who Mrs. Patient is, who you want to target, what does she resonate with? And that's going to help you develop your voice. And when you have that authenticity behind your voice, that is what develops trust. And those 7 seconds can be really easy.
Yes. That is so, so true. So, building trust obviously is a key essential point, because if you don't have that, you can spend all the money in the world on marketing, and it's not going to happen. You can hire the best marketing company, you can have all these leads coming in, but if your client or patient does not trust you, you're building a house of cards, and it's just not going to work. So that is certainly a foundational piece. But part of the way, it certainly integrates with what we're trying to do here with this email marketing, because knowing who your ideal client is, your, client avatar, whatever you want to call it, like understanding that person, their struggles as well, what they come in looking for, what their concerns are. You can kind of shape that in the emails that you're writing. So what I like to do with all practices that I work with is recommend a 5 sequence, kind of a 5 email welcome sequence. So immediately when they sign up for your list, they're going to have a welcome email. So this is just going to welcome them. You want to set expectations here, right? So you want to let them know how frequently you'll be contacting them. You want to let them know what they can expect from you. Just be very clear on the expectations. Perhaps give a little background on your spa, maybe the why of your business, why you do what you do, who you focus on serving, just some background, but keep it short. People are busy. You don't want to send them a novel, but you just want something that lets them know that you value them, but you also respect their time. So I love having the welcome email right away. And I always let them know in the welcome email when I'll be contacting them next, right? And
do you find that helps them prevent people from unsubscribing and dropping off of the list?
I do. Yeah, I think that, the 2 most important things with email marketing is clarity and consistency. Right. So you have to be very clear on and let them know what they can expect. You signed up for my list because either you entered in your email here, you were a patient of ours, whatever it is. This is what you can expect from us. And one of the biggest, I guess I'll call it a mistake. I hate using that word because I think that we learn so much from our quote unquote mistakes. But one of the mistakes that I see so many practices making is the only thing they do is send out an e-blast at the first of the month that shares their promotions.
Right.
It's May. This month we're focusing on laser hair removal, or and that's it. So do you see that as well?
Yeah, I see it all the time, and every time I see it, I think, okay, this is awesome because you should be promoting yourself, but it does nothing to foster relationships with your clients, and so you just miss a huge opportunity, and that's when people feel that it's becoming too commercialized, too promotional, and that's when I've also seen a lot of dropping off out of this list that you work so hard to cultivate.
Yep, and you will notice that your open rates go way, way down. So people essentially are not even reading, they're not even opening the emails that you're sending, and so you're putting all this time and energy and effort into sharing your promotions, and they're not reading them, and that goes back to that know, like, and trust factor not being there. So what I always recommend is having a 80-20 rule, the magic 80-20 rule that shows up
that it has everywhere. An 80-20 rule.
But, focus on 80% content and added value, 20% promotion. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with sending out a monthly promotion. I think it's actually really beneficial. There are people that love to find out what the specials are. It's a great way to showcase the different things that you offer in your location. But 80% of the time, you need to have that consistency and clarity in giving them added value. So are you doing a newsletter? Are you doing sharing some type of charitable event that you're participating in? Are you, there's so many different options of things that you can do. Is the doctor filming, a short video to explain one of these new treatments and what it is, which in a sense could be promotional, but if you position it as this is educational, because more and more clients and patients are becoming savvy. They want to know, what is this treatment that I'm doing? What is this about? What's it doing in the skin? Is this a good fit for me? And so just sharing the information, just saying this is what this treatment is. This is what it can do. People love that,
Is that part of when you say content that adds value? I think that's also something that gets thrown out a lot, especially if you're searching online, what type of content is good. But have you found in your experience with your offices and working with the estheticians in your group that there are specific things that their customers and their patients look for in terms of value? Education is a huge one, but are there maybe other places that you find are very common among the aesthetic consumer?
I really think it depends on what type of spa you are working with. So in my business, I work with solo estheticians, I work with day spas, and I work with medical spas. And all three of them are completely different business models. So, what each, and it really comes down to who your ideal client is and what they want. And the best way to find out what they want is to talk with them. You can send out a survey. You can talk with them when they come in for a consultation. You want to understand why are they coming to you? What are they concerned about? Are they concerned about aging? Are they concerned about preventative maintenance? Are they concerned, about proper skincare? Like whatever these kind of struggles that they are coming to you for, ask the question, and then you can create added value from there. Sometimes some of the most popular posts are the, featured esthetician's favorite product. It's something that you would think, oh, this is so simple, but they want to know, well, what are you using? As estheticians, right? We get that question every day. What do you use on your skin?
Yes, exactly.
And that's something that obviously, like, you and I probably use two very different product regimens because we have different types of skin. So obviously with our patients, it would be different as well. But they still want to know, what do we value? And so having something, hey, even posting a picture, this is the regimen I use today, or this is, and here's why. Those are so popular, and one thing also, don't be afraid to get a little bit personal. As long as you keep it professional, it's still, that forms a connection. They feel like, the clients or patients feel like they can relate to you in a different way. They want to hear your personal story. Did you have acne as a teenager? What have been kind of the skin concerns that you've dealt with in your life? You obviously, we are in a business, right? So you want to keep it professional. You don't want to be talking about, stuff that needs to stay at home, but it's okay to open up and share some stories. One that I always share is that when I was 23, I got off of a birth control that I was on and my face completely broke out. And so I went through an entire 8 or 9 month journey trying to figure out how to clear up my skin. That was very personal for me. That was very emotional for me.
And she didn't it?
Yeah.
Sure did.
But it's one of those things that the clients and patients, they love to hear that. They love to feel that connection, like, wow, you went through that and now your skin looks like that. And it's like, there's so much that's possible that we can do with our skin with the right approach,
And sharing your story builds the trust.
Yes. So,
okay, got 5 emails in the welcome sequence, and this is to really nurture people, introduce them to who you are as a clinic and to why they should trust you. But what next? Because this is a process. So what would be the next logical best step?
In the email sequence or in
your system?
So I will actually, below this post, I'll include in the written form, what the 5 emails are. so we don't make this video an hour long. Um, but there are essentially 5 emails that you set up. I'll put up the timeline below so that everyone can kind of see that. Just in a nutshell, we are going to be welcoming them. We're going to be adding value by providing content, and then we're going to be inviting them to book. So we will having online booking available is huge. If you don't have online booking available, making sure that your phones are manned in a way that whomever is answering the phones can speak well on all of the treatments that you're doing, because that's really the most important person in your practice. The person who is answering the phones, because that's their first impression and it's also their last impression. And so if you have someone, if you have a good phone system set up, you have a great receptionist, or you have your team of estheticians who are answering the phones, whatever it is, include that in there, make it very easy for them to call and book, or to either book online. But essentially that's the process that we're going to be going through, is kind of welcoming them, adding value, inviting them to book. And so I'll include that below. But as far as the actual implementing the systems, I mentioned before a few different softwares that you can use. I think it depends also on your booking software, whether you're using Millennium, SpaSoft, Nextech, there's so many different types of spa booking softwares or EMRs. And if there is an automated, customer relation management tool that's connected with that, go for that. If not, there's several that are out there that are free or very low cost. I know MailChimp is free for up to 2,000 subscribers. I believe you pay like $10 a month if you have something automated. Very reasonable cost, huge ROI, on something like that. I personally really like ConvertKit. And the reason that I like ConvertKit is because it allows you to have what we call if-then rules. So another one of those nasty words, but
or hives. Thank you.
But essentially what an if-then rule is if someone clicks on this link, then send them this email sequence. And so if someone clicks on a video, maybe your doctor did a video about cool sculpting and you sent that out, and if someone clicks on the video, it can start another email sequence that will kind of go more in depth and reach out to them and let them know, hey, by the way, we're having a cool sculpting special, or, you can create a whole nother sequence that's attached to that. And that way you're targeting what we call warm leads. You're targeting people who actually want the information rather than just blasting out to every single person on your list. Because not everyone is a candidate for cool sculpting.
No.
Not everyone wants to do that. But when you can essentially target it out through your email systems, you're just getting more and more specialized, and you're really focusing on the people who care about those services.
Exactly. I think this is one of the most cost-effective ways I've seen to be so specifically targeted into who you're reaching out to, because a lot of times with marketing, if you don't think about targeting people enough, it's just throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping something works. And that's just a big waste of time and a big waste of resources. So this way, you can really create lists by what people are going to resonate with. And it also is helpful for you because it lets you see who are you reaching, who is your consumer, and what are they interested in. So as you further develop your marketing campaigns, you start to really hone in on who this client is. Everything you do is going to be just that much more effective. So you'll watch your conversion rates go up, your booking rates go up, you'll watch word of mouth improve, because you're giving people really specifically what they're looking for. I think using the if-then rules are something that should be considered a non-negotiable if you're going to develop a marketing email system.
And one other thing that's going to go up as well that you didn't mention is client retention.
Yes.
Because you can, if you're having, when someone comes in to get a treatment, say someone comes in for Botox, you enter them into your EMR, you tag them, and you can set up an automated sequence that goes to them that's, 2.5 months before, from the time they're entered into this sequence, they're going to get an email that says, hey, your next Botox appointment is ready, because you're supposed to get Botox every 3 to 4 months, depending.
Right.
So you can set that up. Now think about the manpower that you would save by, initially setting these systems up and then allowing them to just run their course.
So true. So true. Now, in your experiences, Daniela, who do you see in the offices typically managing this? Like, do you see the office manager writing the content? Are they using copywriters? Like, what are you seeing out there in your daily business?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. And it really depends on the practice. So if you are a smaller practice, oftentimes it is the office manager who's writing the copy. Sometimes you'll have a physician who loves to write. I often kind of err on the side of caution with that because physicians tend to write very technically, and patients don't read that way always. But there have been a couple of practices that the physician enjoys writing, and so they will kind of share their content in that way. There are copywriters, which I think is a great way to get your message across. The copywriter can work directly with the office manager, and that way the office manager can say, hey, this is our ideal client. This is someone, these are the kind of the group of people that we're targeting. And so let's use this language, and they can write it in a voice that connects with your brand. If you're working with a marketing company, a lot of times marketing companies will actually have a copywriter on board that can work directly with your brand. But there's no reason that, it really just kind of depends on the level that you're at in your practice. Now, if you are creating, if you're spending a lot of time, developing these sequences and these if-then rules and setting them all up, it is a big time and money investment, right? I wouldn't skimp on the copy.
No.
I think that having, the right language there that's speaking to your ideal client is well worth the money. So, and that brings me to another point is, we've talked a lot about having, our existing clients and patients being imported into this marketing funnel. But we also want to talk about just briefly the importance of, having your website set up in a way that makes it really easy for new and potential clients and patients to join your email list and get to know your practice a little bit better. And one of the ways that I believe personally, and I'll see your opinion on this too, Nicole, but one of the ways that I believe is the most cost-effective and efficient to drive new traffic to your practice is by using Facebook ads.
Absolutely. Completely agree with you. Completely agree with you.
There is kind of a magic formula to Facebook ads. It's not, you can't just boost a post or whatever, but if you why they're so powerful is that you have the capability to target incredibly specifically. So you can do either 5 miles or 10 miles. You can do whatever radius of your physical location. You can target age, demographic, job title, income. I mean, there's so many different things that you can target. If you know that, all of your ideal clients spend their free time at Pure Barre, you can say women who also like Pure Barre. There's so much that you can do to drive new traffic to your website. Right. And then, they're joining that email sequence, all automated again, so this allows you to really essentially have a marketing team on the ground, but it's all automated. You set it and forget it, and you are actually able to spend that one-on-one time with your client or patient.
Yeah. I don't think I could say it better than you just did. I fully agree with that. Having Facebook ads, you can set your budget. It can be small budget, large budget, whatever you have. If you really don't have time, you can utilize an agency. If you do have time and you know who your client is, you can really specifically target and then watch the calls come in and just be ready. Watch your business grow. And that's the best part. And that's what we love.
Awesome. So, I'm going to finish up this call. We're just going to do a quick recap. We talked about the power of creating systems in your practice, specifically through an email marketing funnel, including your welcome sequence. We talked about the if-then rules, how you can create other sequences within for your clients who have received specific treatments or clicked on a link to show that they're more interested in a specific treatment or topic. We talked about the importance of building trust and just how that is a foundational block to any business. And you build trust through a strong website presence, through social, through communicating consistently.
Speak the language of your clients.
In the language of the client, yes. Yes. And then we talked about how to drive traffic to your website to attract new clients. So check out the information in the post below. I will include the 5 email sequence that I recommend. And thank you guys so much for joining us for this first week, this first post of Marketing Month.
Thank you guys.